bring more information now on the breaking news. An incendiary device outside a federal building earlier this morning. This is downtown Manhattan. The FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force at the scene investigating as an anti-government attack. That's what they're calling it. Smoke billowing outside that federal building. And when ICE officers and immigration court members are there in the building, that's who's located there, as well as the New York City FBI field office. My next guest will join me by phone. He knows that building so well. James Galliano, Fox News contributor, retired FBI supervisory special agent. James, you're with me?
Yes, I am, Harris.
All right. First of all, tell me just kind of the configuration of where this device was billowing smoke, and then what you know about that building.
Yeah, so Harris, as you pointed out, I worked in that building for 2 decades, and as we come up on the 25-year anniversary of 9/11, many of us were at 26 Federal Plaza, the Jacob Javits building, that fateful day. So this is chilling and sobering. Now, having said that, everything that I'm hearing reported about what this individual had, this subject that's been taken into custody, it appears this was more performative than anything. Apparently, he had a shopping cart loaded with fireworks, some liquid that could have been used as an accelerant to start the fire. And Harris, he was armed with what are called airsoft guns. We use them in the military and in law enforcement to do simunition training. They basically shoot a little pellet. They're propelled by compressed air or gas or springs. They're less than lethal. So this was a performative thing because it was these are imitation guns. The building itself, it's been there since 1963. It is our tallest federal building in the entire country, 41 stories. And recently, when I say recently, within the last decade or so, the screening area was finally moved outside of the building itself on the Broadway side where this attack occurred.
Do you know why that was?
Yeah, well, post 9/11, a lot of changes to federal buildings where people could basically walk inside before they got screened. Now they're screened outside. And Harris, to your point, the Department of Homeland Security has offices inside that building. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, has offices in that building. United States Citizenship and Immigration Services and the FBI, when I was in the FBI 10 years ago, I believe we had 8 to 10 floors in that building. So very target-rich environment for somebody that really wanted to do something bad, but this looked more like a performative stunt than anything else.
All right. I'm going to push back a little bit because having covered the Oklahoma City bombing and many things earlier in my career that sometimes could have something that happened before that looked more performative. Not saying that OKC did, but there were other instances where that would happen. This gives someone an idea, if they're paying attention, of how we react with our law enforcement. This gives someone, if they're paying attention and this were their goal, not saying it was in this instance, but anybody watching this now can see how we respond, can see, did ICE come out? Were they in the building? I have a lot of questions about how we respond, and everything's on camera. And it's my job to capture it. I'm a reporter, but I'm also inside thinking about that law enforcement.
Absolutely. Well said. Sometimes incidents like this will be a probe. This will be somebody testing it out or doing it on behalf of an organization. Now, we don't know that yet. We don't know if this was someone, either inspired or directed to do this, or this was somebody with psychiatric morbidities. We don't know that yet. But lastly, I'll say this. When I was the crisis management coordinator for the FBI in New York City, 2 things that you just mentioned. We had a robust crisis response plan, how we would respond to an attack. It's integrated with the Federal Protection Services. It's integrated with the NYPD, and a continuity of operations plan. Where would we move our operations in the event that the attack rendered part of that building and our databases, unavailable?
Yeah, that is great information to hear. I know that NYPD and the FBI are on it, and I'm grateful. And thank you, James, for joining me on this breaking news. 20 years inside that building, you know it well.
Thanks, Harris.